The High Court in Johannesburg has ruled that former President Jacob Zuma's attempt to privately prosecute President Cyril Ramaphosa is invalid and unlawful. The court judgment declared that the specific certificate Zuma attempted to use to prosecute the president did not apply to Ramaphosa. Zuma wanted Ramaphosa prosecuted for failing to act over the alleged leak of his private medical information. Now, during court proceedings back in May, Ramaphosa and his legal team argued that Zuma's attempts to prosecute him were an attempt to harass the president for political gain. The High Court has also ordered Zuma to pay Ramaphosa's legal costs in the matter. Elton Hart is a legal analyst and he joins us now to help us make sense of some of the legalities. Thank you very much, Elton, for your time this afternoon. So in the order, it reads, Mr. Zuma's private prosecution of Mr. Ramaphosa instituted under the summons is unlawful and unconstitutional and is therefore set aside. What does unlawful and unconstitutional mean in this case?
Obviously, if it says unlawful and unconstitutional, it means the test that set in the Constitution, because everything is measured, all our behaviors is measured against the rights enshrined in the Constitution and certain principles and procedures enshrined in the Constitution. So it means that whatever he obtained from the NPA as a nollie prosecute certificate, he used it in an unlawful manner to actually prosecute somebody to which it does not apply. That's the unlawful part about it, and it's not constitutionally then sound to infringe upon another person's rights to whom that certificate does not apply.
I mean, to your understanding, is that accurate?
Yes, no, according to me, that is accurate, because what I read in the court documents is that they were mentioning something about Billy Downer and Karen Moon, but the president per se was not sort of half specifically mentioned in that certificate. And also even looking at, even if you say to the president as the former head of state that the prosecutors, it's not the domain for the president to interfere because of the separation of powers principle. The president is the head of the executive, although he's the head of state, but the judiciary is independent. And then the NPA is still another independent body that is the persons that needs to decide if we prosecute cases or not. So for him to complain to the president was not good enough. He was supposed to go to Mashamila Batoy to say, listen, yeah, some of your prosecutors has violated the Prosecutorial Act, and thereupon I'm laying a complaint against them, and then also go to the Legal Practice Council because they are legal practitioners in terms of the Legal Practice Act. And going after the president, I think that was just sort of, I would say, politicking.
What options are then available to the former president, Jacob Zuma?
Obviously, if we know now by the going rate of our former president, he's going to obviously look at this thing and say, I'm going to appeal it. Even if he knows that the chances is slim, he's still going to appeal it, because for him, it's like delaying and buying time in some of these applications, because some of them you can see it's frivolous, there's no merit in them, and they're just being brought because they can bring it. And he's well within his constitutional right to appeal any judgment that he feels aggrieved by. And we're not saying, or I'm not saying that he's correct in doing that, but it's his constitutional right to do so if he feels aggrieved by any judgment given, because the High Court can say now the nollie prosecute certificate is as unlawful and it's unconstitutional, but the Constitutional Court is the court that has the final say about constitutional validity of certain things. So obviously he's going to appeal because there was a judgment made. He's going to appeal against the judgment, and he can go now to the Supreme Court of Appeal in Bloemfontein. And if they've ruled against him, he can also go to the Constitutional Court. So we'll see. But by the going rate of previous matters, I know that there's a possible appeal coming.
Elton Hart is a legal analyst. Thank you very much for your time this afternoon.